Thanks. Great. Okay. So very good evening, everyone. So in the last session, so we were talking about mainly on the assertions front. So that is something which is very, very important in terms of testing in Cypress, because any application if we take, so we need to validate certain functionalities, validate certain properties. So it is very important for us to know about assertions, and we talked about different implicit, explicit assertions, and we have seen different examples on it. So today what we will do, so we will mainly talk about how to work with various elements and what are different scenarios that generally we'll get in projects, and how to work with those scenarios. So that we will take care. So first what we will do, so we will start off with link testing. So that means how to work with links, we will try to understand. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll quickly share my screen. One second, let me share my screen. So please confirm me whether you can able to see my screen. Yeah, can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so what we will do, we will start off with a new test. So I'll go to my A2E folder, create a new file, and what I'll do, I'll name this as link test dot cy dot js. Right. Okay. So what we will do, we will take off some example. Okay. Just copy this. My link text is over here. Okay. So now what we will do, so we will name this as, I'll just delete all this. Okay, I will name this as, let's say, link test demo. Okay. So this URL doesn't have much of links. We don't have links. Okay, I'll take this website. So here we have a lot of links over here. So I'll just take this URL and I'll put it over here. Okay, so these are all some good applications which you can use for your practice, right? Okay, so now, so this is the URL. I'll just open my terminal. I'll open my app. So it is opening the Cypress app. Okay, so we got the app opened, right? Done. Okay, so now link test again able to see. Let me run this. So it should open the application. Something. Okay, I didn't save it. One second. Okay, I didn't save the file. So let me save it. Yeah. So it's opening the URL. Yes. So I'm getting the response. Fine. So now what I want to do, a very basic requirement. See, whenever I open any website, I need to get how many links are there in this web page, right? Dynamically, I want Cypress to find how many links are there. So if you look at in this web page, everywhere I can see a link, right? Can you see? These are all are links. When you hover over, you will get this anchor kind of symbol, hand pointer, that is a link, right? So I can see a lot of links over here. The very first requirement what I have is to get, let's say, the number of links. Number of links is something that I need to find. Okay, dynamically I need to, any website if I open, I need to just check how many links are there. So how to get that? I can use the sci object. So let me say sci.get, right? And one thing, if you observe, say for example, if I open any web page and if I go and inspect the link, say for example, right click inspect, and if I go and see the HTML DOM, any link if you see, it will start with the anchor tag. Okay, so you might have seen in Selenium. So any link if you see, it starts with the A tag. A tag means anchor tag, right? So no other elements other than link will have this A tag. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to tell Cypress very easily this way. Just I'm going to say A. So that means I'm telling Cypress, open this URL and just get all the links. So you see now, this is a collection, right? So this will return more than one element. Right. See, suppose if in my web page I have 10 links, it will return 10 items, 10 elements it will return. Right. So now what I need to do, I need to iterate each and every element. Excuse me. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say that, right, after getting this collection, I want to iterate. So I will simply say a dollar, a variable, let me say any name. Let me say elements, and this is a jQuery function. So I believe you remember this syntax we have used in the previous class also. Whenever there is a collection and if you want to iterate on the collection, so you can use the syntax, right? So then take each and every element. So this is what I'm going to do. Now this will have the entire link. This dollar elements will have the complete link information. So now what I'm going to do is, from all this elements, so these elements will hold all the links. So from this element, I want to get the count. So let me say there is a method called length, right? So this will return how many elements are matching with this link. See, I am using a filter here. So I'm just saying, go to this URL and get all the links using anchor tag. So then I'm just iterating, I'm just getting the length. Say, for example, I will store this in a variable. Let me use a variable, let's say, let the count of elements or count of links equal to, I will simply say like this. And what I can do, I can use sci.log to log any information. I'll say total links. Come on. I will print this one, count of links. That's it. Let me save this and let me try to run this. Let me come to my test runner and I will just run this. Let's see. Okay, it is opening the URL. Okay, fine. So it validates. Yeah, I can able to see a log. So now if you see here, when I say this get of A, can you able to see it is highlighting all the links in this web page? You see how powerful Cypress is? So wherever there are links, you can able to see it highlights everywhere. Right. So now if I see, it is saying the total links is 61. Overall, there are 61 links in this web page. Right. So this is how you can dynamically take how many links are there. See, suppose you already have an expectation that there should be 61 links and you want to validate it. Okay, so this is something like you are dynamically getting how many links are there. Suppose you have an expectation that this page should have 60 links or 65 links. Okay, so I want to check. So the next requirement is I want to check the number of links in the page. So what I should do, I will simply say site.get of A. I will use the CSS selector A, and I can use my implicit or explicit assertions that we have learned. I can use a should command and should, and I will say the property have dot length, right? So now you see, so I'm just saying have dot length, and I'm just going to say it should have 61 links. That's it, just a single line. Right. So these are all some very useful requirements that typically that we will work in projects. Right. To check the number of links. Let me save this, rerun my test runner and see whether it is passing. So this should pass. So dynamically it will take the number of links and I can able to see it is saying there are 61 links. Right. Okay. So now, say for example, I want to print all the links. Okay, I want to now understand, oh, what are those 61 links? I want to dynamically retrieve all the links. Is there a way to do that? Okay, so I'll say print all the links. So what do I do? Again, I'll say cy.get of get all the links in this web page. I will say, now see one more thing. See, this will return a collection, right? So now from this collection, I want to take each and every link. Okay, I want to play with each and every element from this collection. So what I can do, I can use a method each, right? From the collection, I want to take each element. So now I will say, let's give me a variable, let's say ELT, and I will again have a jQuery function, something like this. Take each and every element, right? Now, from this element, what I'm going to do, I will simply say site.log from this element, let's say ELT dot get the text. That's it. So if that element has a text, it will display that text. I'm putting in a cy.log so I can able to see in my log. So hope this is clear what I'm doing. Right. So now let me see what happens. So let me execute my runner and see whether it is printing all the links. Yeah, can you see now? It is printing all the links. Right. See now? All the links it will print. Right. So these are all some common requirements, and a very basic requirement or like the most often used requirement is I want to click a specific link. Say for example, I want to go to this hotels and I want to perform a click operation. Say for example, let me go to the actual application. It is here, right? So I want to go to this hotel and I want to click. So if I click this hotel, okay, I'm just getting a message something like this, under construction. All right. So this is a very useful requirement. I should know how to click a specific link. So to click a link. Okay. So this, what I can do, I can simply say site dot. I can use the text. If the link has a specific text, say for example, hotels is unique in this entire web page. So nowhere I see hotels link. So what I can do, I can simply say cy dot, I can use this method called contains. Okay. So contains, I'll simply say, just look for this text called hotels. So it is not specific to a link. It could be anything, right? So it could be any element. If you find such an element in this web page, simply go and perform a click operation. Is what I'm saying. So click is a method. So now if it finds an element called hotel, So what it will do, it will go and perform a click operation. So let me save this, run my test and see whether it is clicking. So maybe if you want, you can introduce a delay because it is capturing a lot of things. Yeah, now you see it went and clicked this hotels. That is why I'm getting this under construction message, right? So that way also you can do, or otherwise, like if you don't want to use contains, I can inspect this element and can you see now it is giving me a property like nth child of 3 and width of 80 of A. So this also you can do. So I can simply copy this, or you can frame your own XPath. Let me paste this element, or I will say simply dot click. This will also work. See, suppose if you find hotels in multiple places in the same web page, then this logic will not work because contains will return multiple elements. So it will say you won't get a single match. Okay, in that cases, what you can do? So you can specifically use the CSS selector and you can use some selector strategy and accordingly go to the link and perform a click operation. Even this will work. Let's check once again. I'll just comment this and run with this statement. This will also go and click the hotels. Right, it clicked. And you see now it moved on to this website. So these are all the common things that generally we will do in links. Is this clear? Any questions? All good.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Fine. So if you want, you can just practice. So we'll take some 5-10 minutes for you to complete this. Then what we will do, we will move on to the next element. Like we will see how to work with drop downs, combo boxes, drop downs, all that. So once you complete, just type done in the chat box. Any doubts, guys? Able to do it? Shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Abhi. About others?
Yes, Ravi.
Fine, great. Okay, fine. See, now what we will do, we will move on with drop downs. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Just let me know if you can able to see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you see, in the same URL, the same demo website, I clicked on this flights. So if you click this flight, you will get this screen. Okay. So and again, like here, I can able to see plenty of drop downs. So you see this passengers I can choose, or like departing from, I could see list of cities over here. Okay, let's take any of this element. So this is nothing but a drop down or combo box where it will provide me an option to select certain items. Right. So let's take any of this and try to manipulate and understand how to work with drop downs. So what I'll do, I'll just come to my test quickly and create a new test. I will say drop down test dot cy.js. Right. Okay. So here, what I will do, I will okay. I'll just take okay. So let's take this. I will what I will do, I'll delete all this. Okay, I have to go to this URL now. This is the URL. I'll just copy, put it over here. Okay, right. So now, so what I want to do, I want to work with drop downs. Okay, so again, we need to jot down the requirements. What and all generally we can able to do in a drop down, or like what sort of requirements we will get in terms of drop down. A very useful and most common requirement is, so you need to get the number of items in the drop down. Okay, so dynamically your test should identify how many items are there in a drop down. Okay, so how to do that? So I will just write my first functionality. So that is to get the number of items in my drop down. Right. So how to get this? Let me again use the same concept, cy.get. Okay. Now, how to get a drop down? Say, for example, let me go and inspect this. I want to manipulate this element departing from. Let me go and inspect this. Okay. Now, if you see a drop down, a HTML drop down will be mainly coming in a select tag like this, right? So it will have a tag name called select, and if you see each and every option, can you see now? Each and every option in that drop down will be in an option tag. So this is how a drop down is structured in HTML. Unique combo box, if you take, it will have something like this, right? So the command, like how we have used A for filtering the links, if you want to filter the drop down, I can use select. So now what this will do is this will filter all the drop downs over here. But my question here is, or my requirement here is, I don't want to manipulate all the drop downs. I need to go to this departing from drop down, and I want to find out how many items are there here. Right. So that is how we do, right? We will not take all the drop downs all together and find out how many items are there. So now how uniquely I can locate this specific drop down, you see here. So this is the drop down which has a name called from port. Okay. So what I can do now is I'll just filter, take the select and just match it with the name equal to, I will say the name what I'm looking is from port. This is the name that I'm looking for. Now what this will do, this will give me a unique match, right? It will give me a unique match because generally if you have a name, it will be unique, right? So from this drop down, okay, I want to get the elements. See, if you see actually the structure, this option tag is a child tag of this select tag. This Frankfurt, whatever you see, this is a child tag of this parent called select tag. Generally, the options in a drop down are nothing but the children, right? So what I can do is, there is a method in Cypress called children. You remember in the last session, we talked about parent, right? If I want to get the parent, I can use a method called parent. So here, what I want the children, which matches with the tag called option, I'm going to say. Can you see now? So now what this will do, this will take all the options. How many other elements are there? It will take all the elements, right? So now what I can do, I can manipulate. I can use the then method and I can use my usual logic. I will say elements. I'll use this one. See, like this, right? So now here what I can do, I can simply say dollar elements dot length. So this will tell me how many items are there. That's it. So now what I can do, I can store this in a variable. Let me say let the count of elements, something, any name you can use. This is how you can declare a variable. Now it will give me the elements count. Now I can simply say sci.log, I can say the total items, the total items. Use a concatenation operator and I can say this variable. That's it. That's it. Now let me run this and see what happens. So it should refer now this from port drop down, that is this, and in this it will go inside and it will find out the items. Actually, if you see here, there are 10 items here, right? So this should return the number of items dynamically from a drop down. So this logic will work both for a static drop down or a dynamic drop down which keeps growing, right? Any kind of drop down, you can use this logic. It will work. Now let me run this and see. I'll go here. One second. I think we have closed it. Okay, got closed. No issues. I'll just open it. Cypress. Got closed automatically. Fine. Okay, so it is opening. Okay, I think I have not changed the test name. It still says link test, but the logic is working. Okay, it have opened the URL and it is logging. Yeah, so can you see now? It is saying total 10 items. Total items is 10. So that means there are 10 items in this dropdown, if you can see. Right. Okay. Now, similarly, what you can do? So you can use the same logic and you can also check the number of items. See, suppose if you have a requirement to check a specific dropdown should have 10 items. So I can do that. So to check the number of items in the dropdown, what I can do? So I can do the same way what we did for links. So cware.get, I can use this one completely, and I can use still here, right? So this will give me the element what I want to check, right? I want to go to this drop down, get the entire children. Now what I need to do, I need to check. I will say should have dot length, right? Come on, you can say done. That's it. Save it, run your test. Okay, so now it is giving me pass. Right. So now, okay, I'll just say this is drop down test. Drop down test demo. Fine. So now what else we can do in a drop down? See, now we got there are 10 items. So I can also print same way like how we printed the links. So I want to print print all items. So what do I do? Again, use the same thing. This is the element, children of option. Now what I need to do, this will return a collection. So because it has multiple items in it. So now what I can do, I can use the each method. So each of, let's say dollar element something, you can just use this jQuery object, and you can say site.log and say dollar element dot text. That's it. This will give me all the options. That's it. So let me save this, run my test. Yeah. So can you see now? So it is printing all the items. Clear? This is clear. Yes, no.
Yes, Rami.
Great. Okay. Now, the very important requirement is when you have a drop down, you need to select an item. See, that is something which is very important, right? So when I go to a drop down, I need to go and select. Say, for example, I need to go and select this Frankfurt, right? So Cypress actually provides different ways how you can select an item, right? The very first thing is, say, for example, let me take an example of I want to go and select this Frankfurt. Okay, so I want to select Frankfurt. Okay, the very first thing is you can use the text by text. That is, it will check the application, and if there is a text which matches with whatever I wanted to, it will go and select that. So how to do that? You can see now what I can do. I can simply say site.get. I can give the element. So that is this one, right? We already have the selector identified. So this is the selector for this element, right? Yeah. Okay. No, something is missing. Yeah. Okay. Now this is the element. Go to this element, and I'm just going to say dot select. So select will select an item, right? So I can simply say select whichever item I want to select. Let's say Frankfurt. Okay. So please be very mindful that this item is there in the actual application. Okay. So is this clear? So now what this will do? This will go and select Frankfurt. Let's check quickly. I'll go to my runner. I will just run this. So it will run, and you can see in the right side, it will go and select Frankfurt. Okay. Something is happening. 1 second. Why is it not selected? Just give me 1 moment. Cy.get select Frankfurt. Select. 1 second. Let me check. Okay.
Ravi, is it checking with value or the text?
Sorry.
Is it trying to select from value of that option tag or the text in that option tag? Because if it is the text, I am saying a space, I guess.
1 second. Let me check. I think for this. Okay. Fine. So this has a value. Okay. Okay. Fine. Since it doesn't have a text, okay, that may be the reason. 1 second, let me recheck 1 second. Let me save this. Okay, so we will try. Since this element doesn't have a text, it is not checking with the text actually. See, now it is working. 1 second. Let me rerun once again. So there was a space mistake, I believe. I captured. Yeah, so it is selected. Fine. So it is using the text here. Okay, I'll show you all the other options. So this is where it is selecting with the help of text. Okay, so there is one more way. What you can do, you can also select with the help of index. That also you can do by index. Right. Okay, so by index, if I say, if you look at here, so this is item 0. Okay, so this is the 0th item. So this is first item. This is second item, like this. Say, for example, I want to select London. So I have to say as index 2. So what I can do? So I can simply take this command. I'll put it here. And instead of this exact text, what I can do, I can simply say select 2. Now this should select the next item. That is the third item. London, it should select. Let's check whether this is working. I'll comment the previous statement. So now let's try to run with index. Here, run this. Right? Can you see now? It goes and selects London. Okay. Now, how to work with value? See, value also gives you the same logic. Whatever we did, this works with value also. So now what I'll do, I want to check with value. See, value is something, if you see what is the difference between value and text, if you see here, I can able to see a value property over here. Can you see now? What is the value here? And this is the kind of text what we have, right? And in this case, the value is Acapulco and the text is also Acapulco. The value is Frankfurt. Here also the text is Frankfurt. So if you see in this case, right? But this is not always the case. See, it is not necessary that the value attribute and the text attribute both has to be same. See, in this example, all are same. Okay, I'll also show you a different application where the value and text both are different. Okay, so I'll show you that application. But before that, let's check quickly this. What I want to do is I want to go to this specific element. I will say this is the element. Go to this element and just I'm going to say go and select some city. Let's say Paris. Okay, and if I want specifically to validate also whether it is selecting or like it has a value Paris, what I can do, I can also associate with my should. I can also say something like this, select Paris, and I can say should have dot value. I can also say like this, it should have the value Paris, right? So now if I run this, you see now, right? So can you see now, it is selecting and it is also checking whether it has Paris. See, suppose now actually what happens is it is selecting with the help of value, right? I'll specifically show you the difference in a while. Now what we will do, I'll also check. See, now what we are doing, we are checking whether the value is equal to Paris. So same way, can we able to check the text also? See, suppose I want to check whether the text is Paris. See, suppose if I write a logic, something like this, I'll put the same statement over here. Now what I'm doing, I'm just going to this element and I'm just checking. And instead of value, I'm just saying whether it has text Paris. Actually, this will not work. Okay, so you have to check the text in a different way, not like this, but value will work, but this will not work. Let's check this quickly. I'll just comment everything. Now if I run this, sorry. Let's see what happens. Can you see now what it shows? See, when I try to get the text, it gets the complete text. It gets the text of all the options. Can you see now? So I want to check whether there is a text called Paris, but actually the original text was the entire option text. So that is why it is failing. Hope you're getting. So I cannot validate my text, something like this, but value will always be unique. This will work. That is why specifically I want to show you. This will not work. How to check the text, I'll show you in a while. Right. So we have to use a different logic. I'll show you that in a while. But one thing that you need to understand, say for example, if you want to see a difference between all these methods, I have one application taken. Okay. So you see this application. So you can just go to this website, bstackdemo.com. And yeah, so here there is a drop down, order by select. See, suppose if I go and inspect this, okay, so there is a drop down, and if I go inside this, I see three options over there. Can you see now? If I go inside, there are three options: select, lowest to highest, highest to lowest. And now if you see the value, can you see the value and the original text both are different? Can you see in this case? The value says lowest price, but the text says lowest to highest. Right? So this could also be a case. See, not all drop downs are same. Okay. And whenever there is a drop down, it is not necessary that the value and the text property both has to be same. Right. So suppose I want to check this. So what I can do, I'll just go to this web page. I'll just take this web page. I'll just modify over here. Right. Now what I can do, say for example, after going to this web page, I want to check. Okay, so this all, let's comment. I don't want all this. See, if you want to do a multi-line commenting, you can either say slash star and star slash, or otherwise what you can do, you can just select like this and control forward slash. If you click, all the line will get commented. This also you can do. Right. See, now what I can do is I want to show you the difference over here. Right. So now by text, if I want to check something, what I can do, I can simply say site.get. What I can do, site.get in this case, if I go here, okay, so it is a select and it doesn't have any name or anything. Right. And one more thing, if I see in this page, there is no other select attribute. Okay, there is only one drop down. So we are safe. We can directly refer like this. So site.get and directly I can say select. Okay. So this will match uniquely to this drop down because there is only one drop down over here. So if there are multiple drop downs, then probably you need to identify a different selector. Right. So now from this drop down, I need to select. What I need to select. So exactly, I can give the text. Okay, say for example, highest to lowest. This is the text actually here. Can you see? This is the text. And I can just copy this, put it over here. So this will now check with the help of text. Highest to lowest. Right. So let me comment this also. And let me check whether this is going and selecting. Right. So you can see there is no difference actually between text and value. If you give the text property, it will check with the text. If you give the value property, it will go and check with the value. That's it. Simple. Right. So that internally Cypress will take care. So now if I run this, you can now able to see. Let me go to my test, rerun my test. So it should go and select. Okay, it is opening this URL. Let's see. Yeah. Can you see now? It is going and selecting highest to lowest. It is getting selected. Right. So similarly, if I want to select any of the items, say for example, the second item I want lowest to highest. So what I can do, so I can go here, say for example, with index I want to check. So let me comment, maybe for your reference, if you want, you can just use it. And suppose if I want to refer with index, I can do the same thing. So I can just copy this, put it here, and I can simply say select of 1. I can give the index value. That's it. So this will select the second item. This will always go and select the second item, that is lowest to highest. So let's quickly save this, run this and see. Fine. Can you see? It went and selected lowest to highest. Right. This is clear. Okay. Now, if I want to select this with the help of value, so what I can do, I can go here and see what is the value. So the value says lowest price. Okay. I can now give the value over here. I can simply say the same statement. I'll take this. I'll put it over here. Select. I'll give the value property here. Which value? This one. I'll just take from the HTML DOM, lowest price. That's it. So now this will also work. So let me comment this. Let me run this. Fine. Can you see now? It went and selected with the value attribute. So the difference between value and text you can able to understand only if you identify such a HTML, what is that? Such a drop down where there is a difference between value and text, but the syntax remains the same. Right. See, now you can also go and check this property. So you can check whether it is having the value, what is that? This lowest price. So this will work, but you cannot check this. For this, there is a different logic. I'll show you how in a while. Before that, you just practice all this. Can you try this? Yes, no.
Yes.
Right. Just try this. I'll take a different application. So I believe you may feel slightly complex here because there are a lot of options that we discussed. So for a better clarity, I'll take altogether a different URL and I'll show you from scratch. But before that, you try with this samples, whatever we have tried. I'll altogether take a different example and show you. You complete it and let me know. Okay, guys, I'm just stepping out for 2 minutes. I'll be back. Guys, I'm back. Any questions?
No, Denny.
Yep. Just let me know if you have completed. Shall we move on? Yes, no? Arun, Alvin, Divya.
Yeah.
Sorry, Namir, you're saying something?
I was saying yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. So now what we will do, I'll take a different application and I'll give you a better clarity. I'll share my screen. Just let me know if you can able to see my screen. The screen visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you see there is one demo application. Okay, so this is one good web application. So where I see a drop down here, gender, and if I see here, it is giving me few options. So now if I go and inspect this, okay. Now if you see, this is the drop down. Select name, some name is there, and if I go inside, I see a value over here, and I see a text which is something different. Can you see now? Okay, so value is all in small letter, and the actual text starts with capital letter. So there is a difference over here, right? So let's take this as an example and we'll start from scratch. What I'll do, I'll take a new test. Okay, let's not confuse here. I'll take a new test and I will name this as drop down test1.cy.js. I'll altogether take a new test. Okay, now I'll just take so just the base script I'll take. Okay, this is drop down test demo one. I'll delete all this. I don't want anything. I'll delete everything. Okay, I'll just go to this URL now. I'll just copy this URL and go here. That's it. Right. Now, what I want to do, I want to go to this drop down. It has a name that is yes gender. Let me copy this. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll simply say sci.get. Sci.get. I'll say the element. Okay, it has a name, right? It has a name equal to there is a name that is s gender. So this is the name. I'll just close this. Okay. So I'm just looking for an element. If you want, you can put a select tag also, or otherwise. So this S gender is unique. Actually, there is no element which generally, if it is a name, then no element will have two names. Okay, so you can directly give. If in case it throws a conflict, then you change your selector strategy. Right. So now I want to go to this drop down. Then what I want to do, I want to select. I will use select and I want to select with a value. So let's take this NA because it has a variance here. Let me say select. I will say select NA. Right. Now what this will do, this will go and select not applicable. This we are aware, we have already seen. Now what I want to do, I want to get the value, right? Get the value. What I can do, I can write something like this. I can say use a method called invoke. You remember this method we have used in the previous class. Invoke, what I want to invoke is I want to invoke the value. So I can say val, invoke val dot, then I want to extract the value in a variable. Let's say value. You can use any variable value. And this is a jQuery command. I will use the structure like this. You see now what I'm doing? I'm just selecting NA and I'm just saying invoke the value property and store it in this variable. So this will be my actual, right? And here what I will do, I will simply say sci.log. I'm going to print the selected value equal to, let me print this value, let's say plus, and I will use the value, that is this variable, this one. That's it. So now let's see whether it is giving me NA over here. Okay, so let me run this code. I will just come here. I will open my spec, that is drop down test1, and load it. Let's see what happens. Okay, it went and selected not applicable, but not applicable is the text, but actually it is selecting NA, right? And you can able to see here this one. The selected value is NA. Can you see now? Right. So this shows a clear difference between a value property and a text property. So I am just manipulating with value. Okay, and I can now able to see it have retrieved the value and I can able to see the text NA over here. So this is the syntax. Right. And what I can do, I can now check, say for example, I want to check whether the value is NA. I can use the previous logic what we tried. So I can simply say select NA and I can say dot should, it should have the value, what is the value? That is NA. So now if I run this should run, right? This should pass. Okay, let me check that also quickly. Can you see now? It is passing. So the value is NA. Right. Now, what I'll do, I'll just put a wait over here for some time. Now I'll try the same logic for text. Say for example, now we know this NA has, or this element has a text not applicable. Right. So suppose if I write a code, something similar to this. Something similar to this, what I will do, I will say select, I want to select the text. I will go to my application. This is the text, right? Not applicable is the text. So suppose if I copy this and put it over here. Now what this will do? This will select the item, right? So this will select the item, right? Now, if I say it should have text, and what should be the text? So that is not applicable. This statement will not work. I told you already. If you try the same thing, what you have tried, the logic with value property, this will not work. Because if you say this way, it will give me the complete text. It will append the text of all option tags. So this will not work. So let me re-execute once again and show you this. Please try to understand. I'm waiting for some time and it is checking whether it is not applicable, the text. And you see now, I'll get the same error. Now can you see in the actual, it is appending all the text, male, female, not applicable, everything comes. This is what generally happens. Okay. Now, how do I get the text then? Suppose if my requirement, I don't have a value, I want to validate with the text. Right. So how do I get the text? Now, for that, what you have to do, this logic will not work. So I have to use, let me take till here. Right. Now, instead of directly saying should, what I should do is I have to use a method find. You remember this method we have seen. Find, I'm going to say option. Find the option which is selected. Okay. Now, this will return a unique item. See, this condition, what it will do? It will return a unique item. That is this one. I'm selecting this item and I'm finding the option which is selected. So this entire statement will give me a single element now. It will not give a collection like how we got here. Now what I can do, now I can append this with this condition. Right. See, I'm doing a filter. I'm just finding the condition which is selected. Then I am checking whether it has a text not applicable. Right. So this will work. Now, if I run this, you see now what happens. Can you see now? This will uniquely check which item is selected and for that item, whether the text is not applicable. This will work. Is this clear? You're getting this difference? Yes, no.
Yes.
Right. Same way, we can also do this. See, suppose I want to get the selected text. Okay. So if I simply say this way, say for example, I'll just copy this. I'll put this once again. Now what I'm going to do is select, let's say NA. Instead of invoking val, suppose if I say invoke text. Now, if I run this, this also will throw an error. This also will not work because this text by default, what it will do, it will have all the option text. Okay. Now, what I have to do is before you invoke the text, you need to ensure that you are using this method. Find option selected. So I'm going to use that here. First, find the option which is selected. Then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to invoke the text, then extract the text. Let me say, use a different variable. Let's say text value. And here now I can say the selected text equal to, I will say this variable. This will work. Right. So now what I will do, I will, already we checked all this, right? So I will comment all this as of now, this one. I'll say control/. I will try to run only this. Now you see, this logic will validate or extract the value. This logic will extract the text. Right. Let me run this now. Can you see now? Selected value is NA, selected text is not applicable. Is this clear? Yes, no? You want to try?
Yeah.
Yeah, so please try this. Next, what we will do, we will move on with, see, as of now, the drop downs, whatever we have seen, it's a single selection drop down. See, if you look at this example, it is a single selection drop down. Okay, whatever we have discussed so far, it is a single selection drop down, and this is how we can manipulate. See, down, this is also a drop down. If you go and inspect this, okay, let me open this in a browser. This one. Suppose if I inspect this, can you see? This is also a drop down which has a select tag and ID. Okay, and I have an attribute called multiple. There is a tag called multiple. So which means it's a multi-selection drop down. See, I can select multiple items. I can hold my control button and I can select multiple items like this. This is a multi-selection drop-down. So how to automate this? How to automate a multi-selection drop-down? We'll see that in a while, but before that, you complete this. Next, we will see how to work with multi-selection drop-down. Just complete this and let me. So any doubts? Is it done? Okay, I'll show you about the multi-select drop-down also. So you can also try that. See, that is also very simple. Nothing is there. I'll just share my screen. So my screen visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now what I'll do, I'll just comment all this to avoid confusion. So I'll just comment everything. Okay. So let me try to handle the multi-select one. So let me go to this application. Okay. So here there is a multi-select dropdown. See, in multi-select, it is not necessary that always I need to select more than one item. Even I can select one item also. Right. So for example, I want to select the selenium. Right. So suppose if I go here and if I see, I have this item, selenium, Cypress, WebDriver, IO, whatever. Right. So now I want to select a single item. The same logic applies that I can do in a multi-select item. Say like if you see here, this item has an ID tools. So we will use this. Okay. So what I can do, see actually in a multi-select dropdown, I'm doing a single select. Okay. In a multi-select dropdown. This is what we are going to do. So this is quite simple. I can simply say cy.get and whatever. Like if you see here, I have a ID tools. So if you have an ID, then it is very easy. You can simply say hash tools. Then I can simply say select, right? And I can give directly the value or the text. So I will say the value is selenium. I can simply say selenium. And what I can do now, if I want to check, I can check something like this. So this is what it will do. So that's it. This will go and select the item selenium. See, suppose if I want to invoke the value, I can simply say use the method invoke. I can say val. Then what I can do, I can say dot. Then I will say this is the value, and I can say si.log. I can say the selected value equal to whatever. That's it. So this will work. So as simple as what we did here. So this will work. So suppose if I go and execute this, save this, come to my just run now. Let me run this. You see now, it went and selected selenium. So I can able to see that here. Right. So it went and selected selenium. Okay, now I can able to see it went and selected selenium. So now I want to select multiple items. So let's say selenium, Cypress, some other items I want to select. So how do I do? Right. So if you want to do a multi-select, it is very easy. If I want to do a multi-select, the only thing what you need to do is I will use the same statement. Let me take till here. Till here. The only thing what I need to do is I need to put it in an array, right? So if say for example, I will use this selenium, let's say Cypress, and I want to take this, let's say protractor, anything. Like what I can do is I can go here and put everything in the array like this. Okay. And what I can do, I can simply give the name, whatever. See, suppose if you're giving with the text, you have to give with the text. So I say go and select selenium, Then I'm saying go and select, let's say Cypress. Then I'm saying go and select whatever. Let's say WebDriver IO. WebDriver IO. Right, that's it. Now if I run this, this will go and do a multi-selection. Okay, if you stop till here, this will do a single selection. Right, so this will do a multi-selection. So suppose if I run this and see what happens. Let me comment the single selection as of now. Let's check with this multi-select. Can you see now? It went and selected. Right. So this is something which is very useful that you need to understand. So you have to put it in an array and you have to just separate the items with the help of comma. Either you can give the value or the text. Both will work. This is clear. Yes, no. Right. Okay, so next I'll quickly move on with drop down. The radio buttons. So we have a radio button in this web page. We will see radio buttons. What I'll do, I'll quickly create a new test. I will say this is, let's say, radio test. Radio test.cy.js. So radio buttons is quite easy. Right, I can quickly create a test. So I can just take this reference and this thing. Right, so I will use this URL. Okay, so after going this URL, there is a, what is that, radio button, right? And now if I inspect this radio button, I'll just open this in a web page. I think we already have this. Yeah. So suppose if I inspect this radio button, so any of this radio button, suppose if I see I want to click this 3, right? And if I see here, yeah, can you see now? So this radio button has a name, right? And it is a type radio and value 3. See, one more logic that you need to understand in a radio button. See, generally radio button, you will not find an individual radio button. Actually, radio buttons will always be in a group. At least there will be 2 elements. Yes, no, male, female, you might have seen. Any application, if you take, you will not find a single radio button anywhere. Always radio button will be in a group. And 99.9% that group will have a common name. Can you see here? Experience, all this is a group now. Right. And I can able to see each and every radio button can be uniquely identified with a value property. Right. So I can do that way. So I can directly use this value property and access the individual radio buttons over here. So what I can do now, I can simply say here, sci.get, and I can say there is an input whose value is equal to, I can select anything. Let's say the value is 3. I can simply use this. I want to go and select the third radio button. So I can simply say the value is 3. That's it. So if such an element is found, what I want to do, I want to go and just click on the radio button. That's it. So this will go and click on the radio button. Right. And so now what I can do, I can check anything like whatever I want. I can just take this and I can perform any kind of assertions. right? And I can say dot should, remember all this, should, I can say like b dot visible, b dot visible. So I am just expecting this element to be visible, and I can just continue, and I can say should b dot b dot should b dot checked. I can check whether it is checked, right? So I am clicking here, so it should be checked, right? So I can do all this. So any kind of property, if I want, I can check something like this, right? Or otherwise, suppose I take a different element, let's say 4. Okay, so this element is not checked. So I can also use a negate condition now, not be checked. Okay, so this condition will pass. It is visible and it is not checked, right? And after that, also after checking all this, I can perform a click operation. So this also I can like this, something like this. This will also work. Okay, you can check and then you can perform some operations, right? So this also you can use the chaining operations. Instead of saying should, you can also use and. That will also work, right? So let's quickly check this. I'll go here, open the test, radio test. That's it. Can you see now? Okay, I think radio button, you can able to select only one item, right? So first it is selecting 3, then it is selecting 4. If you want to see that whether it is selecting, maybe like we can introduce a delay, cy dot wait of let's say 5,000. So we can able to see that. First it will click 3, then it will go and click 4. Yeah. So you see now it's click 3. Now after the timeout, it will go and click 4, and both the assertions are passing. Yeah. So this is what typically you can do in a radio button. So maximum you can just check, you can click, right, and you can check different properties. Clear? Is this clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So same way, we can validate the checkbox also. So checkbox, what I can do, I'll quickly show you checkbox so that you can try and take a short break. I'll create a new test. Let's say checkbox. This is checkbox. Excuse me. Checkbox test dot cy dot js. Right. So what we will do, I'll take this test. Right. So here it is checkbox test demo. Okay. So in the same application, I have a checkbox also. So I have various checkboxes over here. Right. I may get various requirements. It is not like a radio button. I need to always go and select only one item. In checkbox, I can select multiple items, right? Say for example, if I go and see this checkbox, let me inspect this and see. Okay, so all this checkbox is coming in a division. And if I see this division, right, and all this checkbox has a unique ID. Can you see? It has a unique, sorry, it has a same ID, and the value is different. So I can able to see a value differs actually. See, suppose if I want to check or like select all the checkboxes. So how do I do? I'll go to this web page. I'll just delete all this. Right. I want to get the input instead of value. I can say the type is checkbox. See, now you see all the elements has a common type, or all the element has a common name. I can use any of this. I'll simply say the type equal to checkbox. Right? So since it's a demo application, so they have given all the elements once, right? So there is only one checkbox of type, this one. Now what I can do, so this will return all the elements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these elements. And now simply I can say not click. For checkbox, you need to use a method called check. So this is applicable, this method is applicable only for checkbox. So you have to say check. Right. So now if you run this, you can see, suppose if I go to the spec, you can see now it goes and selects all the checkboxes. Right. If you want to select all the checkboxes. Suppose if I want to uncheck after selecting all the checkboxes, so I can simply say something like this. I'll wait for some time so that I can able to see it is working. I'll just introduce a slight delay of 1 second, and then what I can do, I can use the same statement, and instead of check, there is a method called uncheck. So the statement will check, the statement will uncheck. Right. So you can see now. Let me re-execute this. It will first select and it will unselect. You see how powerful, just in a single line of code, how we are writing. So this and all is not possible in Selenium. Right. Right. So now what I want to do, I want to check a unique checkbox. Say, for example, I want to go and check this test ng or API, whatever. So how to do that? Right. Now, what I can do, I can use the same statement, something like this. I don't want to again manipulate my selector. See, that is one option. You can do that. Or simply what I'm going to do, I will use something like this. I will say side.wait. I'll give some time. And what I can do, I'll simply say, go and find all the checkboxes and check. What I want to check is, we'll go and check the property. Okay, this has a value test end. So I will just copy this and I will say, go and check this one. Right. So what this will do, this will go and select only test end. So let's check this. So this is working. Either you can give the value or the text, both will work. So if I run this, you see now it will unselect, it's selecting test and 0. Right. So same way you can uncheck test ng also. So the same logic you can use. Instead of check, you can say uncheck. Right. So now instead of selecting only one item, can I select 1 or 2 items? That is also possible in checkbox, right? I want to select, let's say, test ng and API. Right. So how to do that? So what I can do, I'll just copy this code, this logic I can use. So this is mainly for selecting one item. So suppose if I want to select multiple items, put it in an array. That's it. Put it in an array like this, and I can say whatever items I want to select. Say like test ng, and next is API. Let me look the value of API. Okay, sorry. Okay, the value for API is API testing. So let me copy this and put it over here. Test ng and API testing. That's it. So this will select only these 2 items. So let's quickly check this. Right. First select test ng, then finally it will select test ng and API. Right. So same way, what you can do, so you can uncheck. Right. And here also what you can do, you can use all the assertions should, you can check with the property be checked, right? So you can just recollect, or like you can just refer all the assertion conditions that we have used, the chainers, what we have used. You can use be dot checked, or like not be checked. You can use all that BDD assertions, right? And you can also check whether it has a value, any value, whatever you see there, or have text. You can check all that, right? So anything you can do with checkboxes. So hope you're getting an idea how to work with checkboxes. So these are all the common elements that typically what we will use, and how we have to work with these elements. Is this clear?
Yes.
Right. So just try this. We'll take a 10-15 minutes break. So maybe by 8:05 we can connect. And then we will move on with a very, very important concept, how to work with web tables. Right.
Hi, I have a doubt here.
Sorry,
I have a doubt here. So in checkbox.
I'm not getting. Your voice is very feeble.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kavya, tell me please. Kavya, you're there?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me please.
Yeah, if you want to select all the items in the checkbox, what we should use?
I was showing now. I'll share my screen. Just let me know if you can able to see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
So you can select the common property and simply say dot check.
Okay.
The first one.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So these are all filters. Any specific item, if you want to select or unselect, you can do all this. Right. Okay, we'll take a short break. I think today is a comparatively more informative day. We had a lot of things covered today. And as I told you, as I'm saying in every session, so definitely you need to practice. Right? So only if you practice, you will gain that confidence, whatever you're doing. So that is the reason I don't want to go with any presentations or like any predefined demos. So because we may not able to encounter those live errors, what is coming. And, so that is again a good experience, right? Even like you can also able to understand the syntax and all that. Okay, fine then. So there is one more thing. I believe you can see in the chat session. So there is one file that has been shared by Lakshmi. So what you can do, it is webtable.txt. Okay, so it is a simple piece of code which I have created with a web table. So you just copy this and have it in your system. I'll let you know what you have to do with this code, and we can locally create a web table, and we are going to use that web table for our understanding. Right. Just download that code and keep it with you. So maybe after our break, I'll tell you what exactly you need to do with that text file.
Okay.
Sure. Fine. So we'll take a 5-10 minutes break. Maybe time is okay. We'll connect by 8:15. So hope that is fine. So along with the practice. So you finish everything, whatever we have discussed, and be ready for web table handling. 8:15 will connect. Right. Hey, hi guys, I'm back. So we start.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Fine. So now, what we will do? So we will talk about web tables. Okay. So I have given you a piece of code. I believe you have downloaded that from the chat. I will just share my screen. Just give me a moment. Just let me know if you can able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see.
Right. Okay. So what I want you to do is there is one notepad file that I have shared. So if you see, this is the file. See, I have created one a web table. Okay, so we don't want to just get into the HTML logic of like how to create it. So it is a very simple table that we have created. What you have to do is this notepad file, you need to save it. Where you need to save it is inside your Cypress folder. So for example, if you look in my case, so this project 2, right? So this project 2 is actually in a folder. If you see in my case, I have saved it in E drive in a folder, Cypress project. So this is my project, what we are referring to. And in this Cypress project, okay. If I see here, I have both the projects actually. This is project 1. Okay. Now, here, if you go inside your project, wherever you have your Cypress project located, so just try to identify the location. So in your system, where you have saved. So if you want to identify more precisely, so you can also check from the terminal. So if you go to your terminal, open your terminal, you say simply new terminal, it will tell where exactly your project is, right? So I have 2 projects. So this is my location. So what you have to do is just go to your project location physically on your disk, right? And save your table. See, wherever you are going to save it with an extension .html. So this file, what you have to do, this is as a text format. You have to just say file, save as, and refer the location. So wherever you're going to save, in my location. So like this, Cypress project, whichever project, say for example, this is the project that I want to save. Save this file. So I will just save this with, don't save as type .txt, save as all files and save with extension .html. Right. Save this file with .html and say save. This will now get saved in the location. Now close this. If I come to my project here, I can now able to see this web table here. Right. So I will invoke this file and do automation. Now, if I go to the actual location of that file, suppose if I go here, so this is my project. If I go to, one second, if I go to my actual project, this is my web table. If I invoke this, I can able to see it will render and it will give me a web table. Is this clear what you need to do?
Yes.
Right. Just try this. And once you get your web table, and once if you have copied your table in your project, just open physically, because there are some properties which we need to understand. Just open physically and see whether you can able to see a web table, something like what I'm getting here. Don't make any changes in the notepad file. Just simply save it inside your project folder. And once you have saved, just come once and check whether it is there, because this confirms you have saved it in the right location.
Rami, one question: where I can find this file, text file?
It is in the chat actually. So if you see in the chat, one second. What you see in the chat file?
No, I'm not seeing.
It is not there.
I'm not able to
It
find.
is there in the beginning. Like Divya, if you just scroll in the beginning, there are two files actually, text file.
That one.
Is it? I'm not able to scroll also. Maybe can you once again share?
I will send us.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So or somebody who is having, you can share it internally. So that will help quickly.
Yeah.
So I can able to look into the chat. Yeah. So there is, it is here. This file. Web table.
Yes, got it. Thank
Got it? You just
Yeah.
scroll up. Around 6
So
o'clock.
Yeah, Sudipta shared me internally.
Yeah, you
I'm not able
download
to
this
find.
and save
Yes.
it.
Okay.
That's it. Right. And once you can able to open your web table as an HTML, just let me know. And please mind on the extension, don't save it as a text file. It will not recognize as a table. So people who have completed and able to see the web table, so please type done in the chat box. Yeah, so done.
Remy, for me, I think some of the characters are coming instead of the table.
Is it not a text file, Alvin?
No,
So
I
just
have.
once again you download. No, might be it could have corrupted while downloading.
Okay, yeah, let me try.
Yeah. Okay, so Dipta, Arun done. What about others? Yeah, Mary also done. Alvin, like you need to re-download it.
Yeah, Remy, I'm trying that.
Yeah, so just download again and try to open that file normally in a notepad and see whether you can able to see the HTML data.
Okay.
Excuse me. What about others? Any help? Harshita, Jayashree, Ebenezer, Dilip, Anisha, Kavya, Mahendra, Prabhu, Namir, Rajani, Shambhulingappa, Shijina, Ulesh. Great. Thanks, Alvin. Kavya, done. Okay, perfect. Okay, fine. So I believe you can able to do it. And so you got it inside your Cypress project, right? Okay, fine. I'll just share my screen. Let me know if you can able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. See now, so this is one a web table, and sometimes what we want to do is we need to manipulate a web table, and sometimes I need to check certain data, or I need to perform some operations. I need to extract some data from any cell. So all that we have to do, right? So Cypress is very powerful in handling web tables. So generally, you take a web table. A web table consists of two types. One is a static web table. The other one is a dynamic web table. Okay, so static web table is anytime whenever you open, so it will have a constant number of rows and number of columns, right? If you see, if you look at here, so these are all the number of rows and these are all the columns, right? And a dynamic table is it'll be dynamic. The rows will increase or like the columns will increase, decrease. Anything can happen, right? What we will do is we will see a specific example using this data table only. Sorry, this web table only, and try to learn how to work with web tables. Right. So now, if I go and inspect, say for example, if I experiment the HTML DOM, so generally a web table will always starts with a table tag. If you look at here, right. So if you see the HTML code, a table is always represented by a table tag name. Okay, and it will have a name or like it will have ID, whatever. It again depends on like how your developer have created a table, right? And mainly if you look at the table, it will have two major tags. One is the head and the body. Okay, so head is nothing but the header information. So if you look at here, if I just keep my cursor on T head, it highlights the header where you can see the book name, author, subject, the entire header of the table. And if I go to the body, it'll give me the actual data of my web table, right? And if you see the rows, actually, if I want to get the rows, say for example, this is my first row, learn selenium, Amit, whatever. I can directly go to the T body and I can able to see each and every row will be in a TR tag. Okay, so you need to just understand the structure. Every row you can able to see in a TR tag, and inside the TR tag, say for example, if I go to the first TR, if I go inside, each and every column will be in a TD tag. Can you see now? If I just scroll my mouse, you can able to see it is getting highlighted. Can you see now? So each and every TD represents a column, right? So as simple as that, any table will have a tag name as table. Inside a table, you will have rows, which is represented by TR, and columns are represented by TD. Is this clear what I'm saying? Yes, no?
Yes.
Right. So now, how to access the rows? Say, for example, I need to write a selector strategy. How to get the rows? As simple as that, what I can do, I can use a similar method, cy.get, and I can simply say tr. If I say tr, what it will do? It will get all the rows in a table. See, generally this tr, td, this tag will not come outside a table. TR represents table row, right? So if I simply say TR, I can able to access the rows in the table. If I simply say TD, cy.get TD, I can able to access the columns, right? Okay, so how to work with it? We will see. We will take this table and what we will do, we will create a simple example and we will try to understand how to work with web table, right? So I will quickly create a new test. I will name this test as, let's say, web table test 1.cy.js. Right. So now what I can do, I can just get the default. And put it over here. Right. So this is, let's say, web table demo. Right. I will just remove all this. Fine. Now, one thing you need to note, see, I don't have a URL like this. So because we have our raw HTML file inside the project, right? So how do I access this using a cy.visit statement? So I cannot say https://webtable.html. This is not going to work. So if I want to refer this file, what I have to do is, okay, so what I have to do is, I want to write a statement. I want to say, where is this file? See, this file, if you closely observe, this file, see, we are trying to access this file from this location, right? Okay, now I need to go to two directories. First, I need to come here, that is to this E2 E folder. Then from here, I need to go to Cypress folder because this file is in this Cypress folder. So if you look at the path, okay, if you see the path, copy relative path, you can able to see that this file is in this Cypress folder. Okay, so if you want more precisely, you can just look into your project structure. Okay, so can you see here? So it is outside. Sorry, it is in your project directly in this project. So you have to go 2 level up. The first level is to this folder, then to this project. So up 2 times, you can put 2 dots and put a slash, and you can type the file name, that is webtable.html. That's it. This will now load as like loading a web page. Now let's check this. What I will do, I will quickly run this and see whether it is opening my application. I will try to open my web table test and see whether it is opening. Can you see now? It is exactly like hosting in your local server. Can you see? Right. So this is how you can host your own web applications inside Cypress. So you can also do this way. You don't want to always depend on some demo websites. If you are comfortable in HTML, even you can create and practice. Right. So you see now, this is how you can load. So I can simply go outside your folders, how many folders I want to go outside, and I can just give the file name. Right. Now, what I want to do, I want to go to, let's say, some cell we will try to access. Say, for example, I want to check whether this cell has Java in it. This cell. Right. So how do I write a code? Now, what I'll do, I will simply say cy.get, cy.get, and now I want to know this table. If I look at this table, if I go here, we already know this table has a name called book table. Book table, right? So I will use this logic over here. cy.get, I will say there is a table in this web page whose name equal to, I will say book table, right? Book table. So from here, I want to go where I want to go. I'm sorry, 1 second. Remember this. You have to use this upward arrow, the greater than symbol, right? So from this table, I want to go to, let me go here. From this table, I want to go to the body. So because the actual data is in the body, it is not in the header. So I want to go to the body. So I will say, go to the T body. Go to the T body. In T body, I want to go to a table row. Okay. So now if you see, there are multiple rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 rows here in this table. Okay. Actually, I need to go to the second row. Let's assume that this data is static. Okay. So that means this Java will always come in the second row. It is not going to change. Okay. So I need to go to the second row. TR. So suppose if I say TR, in this T body, go to TR. See, it will refer 6 rows here. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm not interested to search my data in all the 6 rows because as per my requirement, I know the data what I want to check is in the second row. So how do I exactly go to the second row? So if you want to go to the second row, you can write something like this. You can say T colon nth child. This is how in CSS selector you have to write. Nth child. Suppose if you want to go to the first row, you can say 1. See, please note this is not index. Okay. There is nothing called as nth child of 0. Right. Nth child of 1 means go to the first row. Suppose if I want to go to the second row. See, I want to go to the second row and perform a search. Then I need to say nth child of 2. Right. Now this will refer this entire row. Again, I am not interested to search in this entire row because I'm very sure the data what I'm looking at is in this column. So if you look at this column, how do I get the column? So now I came to this row. I am now currently in this specific row. Now in this row, if I see, there are multiple TDs. Can you see here? There are multiple TDs. Right. I want to go to the 4th TD. So first TD is the checkbox. Second TD is Learn Java. Third TD is Mukesh. And 4th TD is Java. So here is where exactly I need to come. So how do I come here? I can now say from TR, go to the TD, and in TD, go to the nth child of 4. See now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly now I am in this cell. Now you got it. Suppose if you want to go to a specific cell and if you are aware about the row and the column, you can write something like this. It's very easy, but you need to understand. So this statement, what it will do, it will go to the second row and fourth column. Right. Now, what I can do, I can check. What I can check. I'm sorry. Okay. So I can now check something like this. Dot. I can put in the next line. Contains. Remember this. I can check whether this contains this word called Java. Right. And you can check for other conditions also. It should dot be dot visible. Anything you can check. Right. So now if I run this should pass. If it contains Java. If second row, fourth column contains Java, the statement will pass. Let's run this. Let me go here, run this and see what happens. Can you see now? Now, if I see this contain statement, you see it exactly highlights the Java. And if you look at this statement, you see contains Java, and this is my expectation. So this is also visible over here. Is this clear? How to traverse to a specific row?
Yeah.
But right. So now, what I want to do, I have a different logic. Now, I want to iterate. Let's say the second column. The second column I want to iterate. So that means I want to go to this Amit, Mukesh, Animesh, all this data, and I want to check something. Right. So that is something next I want to do. My next requirement is I want to iterate the second column. Second column in all rows. If you look at here, that means in the first row, second row, third row, fourth row, all this, I want to just iterate only the author column. Right. So how do I go? I will simply now say cy.get. cy.get. Let me go to this table. I will just take this and I will modify. I will take this completely and I will modify. Okay. Now I need to go to this table. Inside this, I need to go to this T body. This we are very sure. Right. Now this and this will we have to modify. Okay. Now, if you look at here, I want to traverse all the rows. So I may not want to say nth child of 2 or 3. So what I can do, I can simply say go to TR. That means now this will match all the rows. In this T body, how many other rows are there? It will match. So now, if I look at in my specification, if I go to the T body and if I see the rows, can you see now? If I simply say TR, it will match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows it will match. Hope you're getting. So I want to go to all the rows. So that is why I'm saying TR. So from all the rows, I want to go to the TD. Okay, which TD I want to check? In the author field. Author field gives me which TD. Let me see here. If I look at here, this one. Okay, that is TD of 3. TD of 3 gives me author column. And similarly, if I come here, sorry. 1 second. This is the first TD. Okay, inside this, yeah. Animesh, can you see? TD of 3. So what I can do, I can simply say nth child of 3. Right. So now what this will do? This will return a collection because I want to extract the third column, right, from all the rows. So this will return the collection. Now what I can do, I can use a each method. I can simply say each. Each will iterate each and every item. So now I can write something like this. So from this, I can take this item. Right, the first item I can take, I can simply say, I can put a jQuery. I'm sorry. Like this, right? So take each and every item, right? So now suppose if I say, what I will get now, I will get each and every author, right? So this will run for 6 times, and for each and every time it will get the author, right? So what I can do now, I can store this in a variable, let's say constant or let, anything you can use. Let's say let author equal to, I simply say $e dot text, $e dot text, right? And what I can do, I can simply say sci dot log, I'll print the author. That's it. So now let's run this and see what happens. Can you see now? I got this entire value. Amit, Mukesh, Animesh, Mukesh. So this entire value I can able to iterate. This is clear. You're getting?
Yes.
Right. See, not only this value, you can also validate something. Say, for example, what I want to do, I want to check whether, or like, I want to just get what book this Mukesh have written. Right. Okay. So how to do that? Say, for example, you see now, if I can put a condition like this, if author dot, if I want to check here, okay, so what text author has, because every time author will change. For the first run, author will be Amit. For the second run, it will be Mukesh, Animesh, all that, right? So now what I want to do, I want to check, let's say this guy Animesh, right? So if author dot includes, there is a method called includes. So if this text matches with this guy, so let's say Animesh, okay, so Animesh, right? So what I want to do is, for example, if this matches with this guy, so then what I want is, I want to get what book I've written. So Animesh have written this. So I need to extract this cell value, right? So how to go to the cell value? I can simply say this one, the same thing. Okay. So now it is not nth child of 3, it is nth child of 2. So because I need to go to this one. This is nth child of 1, this is nth child of 2. Okay. So 1 second, there is some problem. Yeah, I did post in quotes. Right. So nth child of 2. So nth child of 2 will now give me 1 second. Okay, dot, there is a method called eq. Second, okay. Just say dot then. Okay, dollar, say book name. I'll just get this guy's book name. I will just say const, or say let book name equal to dollar book name dot text. That's it. This should give me the book name, and now I can simply say site.log the book returned by this guy, returned by, I'll say this author is, I can say that is this book name. That's it. So now you see, I'm just going and retrieving this data, and I'm getting the value in a book name. So this will give me the entire cell value, right? And from that cell, I'm just extracting the text and storing it in a variable, and I'm just printing it here. So let's see whether this is working. I'll save this, run my test. Okay, 1 second. So this returns this complete. So there is a slight change that we need to do. Okay, so instead of we are just getting this element, we will also get the index. So index is like there are 6 items. So this keeps changing from 0 to 6, and say $list. Okay, so this will give me the complete list. Index will start from 0 to 6. How many other items are there in this list? So now here what I can do, that is when we get this book name, instead of directly getting from this child, I can just equalize here. I can use this equal command. We discussed this in the last session. So go to the equal of the index. That means exactly it will go to the right index. Whichever animation is matching, it will go to that index and it will extract the book name. So now it will not give multiple items like this. See here you see Mukesh, Amod, all that comes. If I run this, 1 second, I'll save this and rerun. Yeah. Now you see the book returned by Animesh is learn.js. It is coming exactly. Right. Suppose if I give some other name, let's say Amod, I want to check for Amod, I'll simply change here. If I say Amod, and if I run this, it will give me the name written by this guy. Amod is master in Java. You know, it gives this cell data. So you can play with the data, something like this. Right. So just make a note of it and you try on your own. Like say, I'm just giving few examples. So you can just take any one data and try to extract something else. Right. So for example, you want to understand master selenium, what is the price of it? You can extract that. Okay. So you can try all that. So this is the logic, how you can traverse a web table. Right. Just make a note of it and please try this. Only if you practice, you will get to understand. So that is the reason I have given you a web table only. So that for your practice, you should know how to access rows, how to access columns, how to access cells.
Rami, one question.
Yeah.
Here in this example, you said we know the table row or where we are expecting the result.
Correct.
But suppose if we don't know, then how to
Ah.
find that data in the table result?
Yes. So that I will take separately actually. So what we will
Okay.
do, we will discuss that on Monday, right? So where I will take specific examples. Let's assume that I don't know the exact row, exact columns. We will see dynamically how to get how many rows are there, how to get how many columns are there. That is the only thing that you need to know. So as of now, the rows are fixed. I am directly going to child 2, child 4 like this. So suppose if you consider as a dynamic data, so the only thing is we have to write a logic. How many rows are there? See, whenever you populate a data table, you need to get the rows and columns. If you get the rows and columns in 2 different variables, then you can play with the table, whatever you want to do with the same logic what we have created. Okay, so that I will show you on Monday.
Okay. And in our project, we do have some tables which scrolls, which loads on scrolling. First, it will load few items, and when we scroll down, it will keep on loading the data. So,
No problem.
Can you show any example also?
Pagination. Yeah, I'll show you.
Pagination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll see that. Okay, fine. So you try this. And any help, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll connect on Monday. So Monday, we have quite a few things to cover. Right? I'll see whether we can able to take it up this way by coding it, or otherwise I'll have the code predefined so that we'll move on quite fast.
Okay.
Because Monday is the last day. So I'll see like how well we can able to do it. I'll try to code certain things and keep it ready so that I'll just walk you through and you can practice.
Remy, one more thing. Type ahead, selecting a field from a type ahead drop down.
Sorry.
If we have to select some data from a type ahead drop down, do you have any examples also?
No, what is
on
that
Monday?
type ahead means? I'm not getting.
Type ahead means when we have a field where we will type and it will sort the data based on that from the drop down, and from there we
jQuery
can
drop
choose.
down. I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a jQuery drop down. So when you type something, it'll populate a list. Okay, so from that list you need to select it. That is called as a dynamic list or a jQuery drop down. Yeah. So I'll see whether I'll get an example, or otherwise I'll share you the code. So because Monday, I don't think we may be able to cover up everything. So whatever possible I'll cover, or anything specific requirements if you have. So you just let me know. I will code and share it with you guys.
Okay. And also something on the multi-factor authentication login pages.
Multi-factor authentication. I'll see because I don't have a demo site. Multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication. So you are saying in API or GUI?
GUI.
Okay. So I don't have an exact page, but I'll tell you how to do that if you want.
Okay. Yes.
So it is difficult to get a demo application. So I have some application which I'm not able to share it.
Yes. Okay.
Right. I'll tell you the logic.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, baby. Great then. So you guys can try this and just let me know. So hope like you are getting things, and I believe you are much confident. So then from where we started initially and where we are right now. But please practice and we will see the rest on Monday. Right.
Okay.
Right. Any questions before we close? Anybody? Right. So if you don't have any questions, so we'll close for today. So wish you all a very happy weekend. So we'll connect on Monday. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Remy. Thanks, team.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Remy.